coaches, Deshaun Ray from the Athletics. You guys have a pretty deep running back room. I know OTA was contact things like that. What's been your early impressions?
Man, I'm very excited. Think got a bunch of group of men that shows up each and every day and work their tail off. A selfless group. You got guys that can not only run the football but catch, block. Speed, quickness, everything that you want in that room. Got a lot of guys that bring those those intangible things that you honestly you can't coach. So very excited about the room, about the potential that's in that room.
Can you talk, Hondo Carpenter with Sports Illustrated, can you please talk about Zamir, your thoughts on him? Obviously, AP and those guys have a lot of faith in him. Just want to know what you see from him that you like.
Ooh, very, very talented young man that's going into his third year, raw, but got a chance to be really good. I mean, big, physical, strong, quick. Can do a lot of things that again that you don't have to coach. So the potential there is incredible. Think just a young man that got to continue to hone on the little things and continue to find his skills. But just with time and him trusting the process, trusting himself, and us coaches putting him in the right position to be successful, man, he's gonna flourish.
Coach Q Myers, Raider Nation Radio 920. You talked about the little things, and you've been focusing on the details out there at practice. We've been able to see. How have you seen the running backs focus in on those small details and make sure that they pick those up?
Honestly, those guys just being intentional. I'm talking about from it starts in the meeting room, the classroom, where they come in there with a purpose. They hold each other accountable, and it's just something. Me as a person that I have always, it just felt like, man, just doing the ordinary things in extraordinary ways will take care. Big plays. I always like to tell those guys that the good Lord has done his part and have blessed you all with the talent. Now it's about you being detailed, being intentional, with what you do. And man, those guys are first class. Those guys show up each and every day, and they are getting better.
Vinny Bonsignor with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I know Dylan Lowry's got a long way to go as a rookie, and you guys are throwing a lot up against the wall, but we see him lining up all over the place out there in OTAs and so far in minicamp. What are your impressions of the young running back?
Man, I think he got a bright future. Like you say, I mean, he's I think his kind of his best thing that he bring each and every day. He's wise beyond his years. I mean, he shows up like a vet, but he's a rookie. I mean, he have his worker hat on and bring it each and every day, and he can take what he learned from the classroom and apply it on the field. Gonna always be in the right spots. Got really good hands, quick. Explosive, just a very cerebral player, man, that can do a lot of things, and you can line them up. So I'm excited to get the opportunity to see all those guys. But as that running back position, I was kind of had this rule, we don't play the game in shorts. So I'm excited to see this group in pass.
Coach, going back to Zamir, we saw him get a bigger workload at the end of last year. But what is the mental and physical process of him preparing for a season in which he's expected to take on a much larger percentage of the field?
Well, first of all, I just think that's him getting his mind right. And I think that starts with the process that Coach AP preaches each and every day, showing up, putting in the work, being intentional, the commitment to excellence, doing it the Raider way. So I think it starts with the mental part, which of course we're all getting better at that. And then just the physical part of it, him each and every day, him being a pro of taking care, his body. And thank God you got guys like Alex, who Amir, guys that done played in the league so long. Myself, a guy that played the position and played in this league. So, we can give him different nuggets and things to take care of his body and how to go about and move. So, and I think he's doing a good job in taking it in stride.
Coach Levi, RichRaiders.com. Obviously, it's your first, experience coaching on the NFL level, but you come into the position with a little bit of head coaching experience. What would you say that experience has kind of helped you, mold as a coach now going into this opportunity?
Well, I think that, that whole experience of having, being in that role is, it made me realize the impact that you can have on men, that you can have on people. And it just done confirmed me. I just know that whenever you align and you're serving people and you're doing it for each other and you're being selfless, man, guys are buying and guys will follow and magic will happen. So, I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from, me playing in that role is to, just care for people and also be that example and just not talk about it. And that is what I love about Coach AP, man. One of the biggest strengths about him is he brings people together and he holds people accountable. He's approachable. And I just feel like, as a coach, and able to get the best out your players whenever you're approachable and you're understanding, but you're holding them to a standard. The way that we do things, guys will grow and develop.
When you played, you were known as a great teammate in the locker room. That's what your people you played with said about you. How does that help you be a good coach?
I think it's like anything in life. It's all about the people. It's all about others. I think a lot of times that we get so caught up, especially in today's, about self-serving, like yourself, and just starting from knee high with my mom, the way she raised me. I'm just a firm believer. If you can pour into others, and you can make others better. You have favor on your life. So, it's easy for me to, like Coach AP always tell us coaches and everybody, man, check your ego at the door. It's not about your status, your money, what you done did. Like, none of that matters, man. We are here to pour into these men. We're here to pour into people, and we're here to do good for, this organization, make this community proud.
Anything else, guys? Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey guys, questions for James?
Coach Hondo Carpenter with Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
When you look at this offensive line and Dylan, 2 years, been a starter the whole time, maturity to be able to move him to the right to help Thayer. Would you talk about him specifically, Dylan, and his maturation and his output for 2 years?
Yeah, he's first of all, very athletic young man. Got a good, strong lower body to him. Obviously has the strength and quickness to go along with what we want. And like you just said, he has that experience with last year. I think he's grown quite a bit from last season. Obviously, I wasn't around him that much, but I could see it right now, how he learns, how he's developing, and I think that's a huge asset for him on that right side with there.
You mentioned on the right side, I guess, what goes into that decision of moving over there and having him on the right side. So
yeah, you know what? Just watching him and doing what we're doing is, we run more wide zone and things like that, and he's just more natural, especially him being a center. Sometimes centers are more natural being right-handed guys than they are left-handed guys for whatever reason, and he just moves. He's just more natural moving over there, and we just like the way his footwork was better over there and things like that. The game was more natural for him over there. That's why we moved him.
How much of an adjustment really is that for a player to make, and what have you seen?
Yeah, for some it's different. You know, some guys are more left brain than right brain or things like that. But for a center, it's usually typically easy because they're used to going both directions. So.
It seemed to be a perception that the Raiders needed a right tackle throughout the offseason after losing Jermaine. When you went through the film work and took a look at things, did Thayer kind of jump out at you saying, hey, we may have the answer right here?
He did. Especially, you know, watching the latter part of last year. He really jumped out at me a lot, and he's been a good fit over there. He's been, you know, his athleticism, he's untapped. He's still learning. He's a raw football player. He's still developing, in my opinion. He's getting better every practice. He's getting more comfortable over there. But I think he is, like I was talking about Dylan, he's natural on the left. Like you put him on the left, he can totally do it. That's what he did in college. He played both sides. He played more left than right, but he can go both directions. You saw it last year. You know, he can go step in for Colton when he needed to, and he's been a pleasant surprise over there at right. He's getting better too, so I've been really fired up about him.
Coach Q Myers from Raider Nation Radio with the 920.
Yeah.
I know you can't have pads on right now, so you can only do so much, but what have you thought of just the overall room and the way that they've been taken to your coaching so far, the way they've been out there practicing
Yeah, you know, it's a really good room. Really good. I was blessed to come from a really good room in San Francisco. It's got a lot of the same qualities within it. Guys love football. Guys want to get better. They're asking questions. They take criticism, and they've been an outstanding group. They really grasping the offense too. Like they're really doing a good job. Obviously, we don't run the ball that much right now because it's OTAs and minicamp. We don't really get allowed to do the contact that we want to do our run game. But within the drill work and anytime we do it, they've been really good as far as understanding the detail of what we're asking them to do.
Raiders.com. What's been your initial, thought process of Jackson Powers Johnson and just drafting him and also just seeing how he's developed in the room so far?
Yeah, you know what? He was making some progress early on. We had him in rookie minicamp. We grinded him out in there. We obviously have him at guard. He played center in college. He's actually a really good pass protector. I was really surprised with that. I'm upset at the fact that we couldn't really work with him. He's been hurt. He's been dealing with some kind of issue with his shoulder, but he's out there now. But I wish we could have spent more time with him. But we'll catch up during a training camp. But he's a really bright kid, understands it, catches on quickly, knows what when you ask him to do something, he understands it. Okay, it's not going to confuse him at all, and we just got to really get him in the process of doing our offense. Our offense takes a lot of reps to master as far as technique goes.
Joe, this is Tashari from the Athletic. You mentioned earlier you guys are, installing more of a wide zone blocking scheme. It's pretty different from what you did last year.
Right.
He's gone into sort of reteaching the linemen that played in the system before.
Oh, what's that now?
What goes into kind of teaching you guys how to
speed off the ball, running on angles, and getting certain footwork that we do, and it's totally different teaching. Like it's totally out of the realm teaching from what they're used to. And they were more of a tight zone gap scheme team, and they're really good at it. They're good at it. They know how to do that kind of footwork, but understanding the footwork right now that we're asking them to do and just trying to drill that right now with them, and it takes a long time, especially to get it right. We're still in a work in progress on it. And matter of fact, I just left the meeting with the guys. It's been to this point, we're finally starting to understand it and get it. And it's been all those practices to get it to where we need it to be. So it's funny you said that.
Vitamin USA Today.
Yep.
On that same note of teaching this system, how important was it to get Cody Whitehair in here and get him working with the offensive line?
Yeah, thanks for bringing him up. Really important. He's been in this system for a while. He understands it. We're coaching it actually a little different way, a little different twist to it, and he's been really engaging and learning it. But he's an asset to the room as far as his knowledge, his work ethic. Really happy to have him here.
What does Andres Pete bring to the mix?
Andres? Yeah, Andres is, again, it's funny with Andres. I've known him since a high school kid. and had a relationship with him when, him and his family recruiting him. And so I sort of knew him all along. And then they mentioned that the fact of bringing him in here to add some depth. And you talk about a quality man to come in here and do it. Obviously with Colton dealing with his injury and we don't, I don't know the trainer. You guys can ask the trainers when he's going to be back and all that kind of stuff, but he's out there working, doing his deal. But to have him out there is an asset. Okay. He's understanding the system. And he's like I said, with the technique part earlier, he's really catching on now. I think he can play out at tackle. I think he can play in space. I think he can play at guard. He's quite an asset for us right now. I'm really happy to have him.
When you talk about the length of that room, it's not usual to have a guy like Andrew Speed and Cody Whitehair in quote unquote rotational or just backup positions. What kind of value does that give you?
Huge. We got a good mix in the room. We got the youth and the veteran guys in there. It's a really good mix. You talk, Andre James and Cody Whitehair and Andrus Peat, all the veteran, Colton Miller, come on, all those guys have played a lot of football and they know it, they understand it, and what's cool about those guys is there's zero ego to them or any of that. They're helping the younger guys. They're helping Jackson. They're helping, DJ and all those guys. I see Colton out there always working with DJ. Always working with the younger tackles, and that goes to the first question we had earlier. How's the room? How they go? They're unbelievable. They do a great job. They help each other out, and especially the veteran guys help the younger guys out. It's a pretty cool fit.
When you move to a new job, Coach, you don't always know what you're inheriting, and this group has been lauded for being extremely teachable. How does that make you better, that you got a bunch of guys that want to be corrected, want to be coached, and want to be taught?
Oh, there's no doubt. And what I was really excited. It was a funny story. I was obviously at San Francisco last year. We were playing in the Super Bowl here in Vegas. So I came to Vegas. I didn't know I was going to be staying in Vegas. I had no idea. But watching the game, going over the game plan and going over, with Chris Verster, the line coach, and going, watching these guys. The Raider game against Kansas City, obviously we're preparing for Kansas City, really stuck out to us. And I was watching those guys for 2 weeks just on tape, and I saw it. And then as soon as I got a call from Luke Getsy to see if I'd be interested in taking this opportunity, I jumped at it because I watched what I saw on the tape. I saw their Munford. I saw those kind of guys like that. I saw Andre James. I saw all those guys. Colton was the missing piece in that game. But all of a sudden, I know Colton Miller. I've seen a ton of his film. And so I jumped at the chance to be here. And then back in a great organization, I didn't think twice about it. It's a great opportunity for me, and I'm excited as heck to work with these guys. It's going to be cool, man. I can't wait.
When you're watching that film, you're looking at how they would fit in with your system, right? You're like not what they did last year, more so the pieces what they are.
Yep, and we still do a little bit of what they do too, and it's funny as I don't spend as much time drilling that because they sort of know how to do it already. So I'm not going to spend my time doing something they already know, and I'm spending more time right now trying to implement our stuff with them because we do variations of what they did before, and their technique is pretty sound with that. So I'm not really messing around with that right now.
You mentioned being back in the organization. It's been a while, and it's a different building in a different city. But being back in those colors, what has that been like?
It's awesome. Just the experience being a Raider is huge. It was my team growing up as a kid in Southern California. When they're in Los Angeles, I was a Raider guy. I've always been a Raider guy. I'm just excited to be back, and the loyalty within this program is phenomenal. But the fan base is phenomenal, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, going back to Thayer Munford, I think one of the things just from the outside maybe has been confidence with him and his belief in himself.
Oh yeah.
What have you noticed from him in terms of that, and is there a way to help somebody with that?
Going against Max Crosby every day at practice, I will help him quite a bit. You don't get a better player than him. So that's going to it's going to lead into his confidence, and he is getting confident by going against him every day. Obviously, we're not full speed and doing all that stuff, and Max can have his way with just about anybody in the league, in my opinion. But going against him every day is really developing and shaping up his confidence.
Can that work both ways though? Like, I mean, that could work both ways though, right? I mean, if you're struggling, and a lot of people struggle with Max Crosby, like,
Yeah.
it could impact you, right? Like, how do you balance that part?
Just get little wins and capitalize on the wins and just keep, point those out to him when he does win and give him that confidence and show it to him and show him that the technique works and show him and keep proving it to him. You got to keep proving it to him and showing him and keep working with it. You got to keep it ingraining it in his head. Okay. And obviously, like in a game scenario, if a guy does struggle, you got to help him out. You got, give him a rope, and let him get out. And figure out a way to help the young man if he is struggling and give him that confidence. You got to find a way to give guys confidence in some way, aspect or another.
This is Antonio Pierce's first full season as a head coach. What have your impressions been of that?
Great. He's got a grip on the locker room. No bull crap. A lot like Kyle Shanahan as far as that goes. When he talks, people listen. And when he's up there speaking in the morning, guys are attentive. They're watching. They're looking. They're soaking in everything he's saying. Okay, and his experience as a player is rubbed off on our football team.
Blocking scheme that you run obviously has produced some really good running backs as well. When you see that running back room that the Raiders have, what do you think about it right now? Early,
yeah, very athletic and they're fit for the system. And they're starting to really become accustomed to how we want it done. And Cadillac's been grinding them and coaching them up this OTAs. And I see that group getting a lot better as the weeks go forward.
And you were here last time. I think Rob Ryan was here also.
Yes, sir.
What's it like being back with him, and what does he bring? What does he add to a room?
Character. That's number one. He brings a different light to football, which is great for young men. He makes it fun. His presentations, he's the best presentation guy I've ever been around. When he gives a presentation, I'm into it. He does a great job explaining things. It's been great to see him. It's the full circle where he's been. And you talk about a lifelong Raider. It's great to be back here with him, and it's fun rehashing some of the stories we had way back then too.
You thought about growing your hair out like his?
No, I'm good. I don't have much hair left, but I'm good with that one.
Coach, AP wanted coaches that related to the players, that just weren't dictators, but cared about them as people.
Mm-hmm.
How important was that for you to be part of a staff where it's more than just coaching guys you're working with?
Yeah, and just be who you are, and you can see it from the staff. We hang out with each other, and on the weekend you call one another and hang out. I think that's important. The bonding, not only as a staff, but having getting along with the players too as well. And just, I think what they want to hear is don't BS them. Just tell them the truth. Coach them up. And that's what they want to hear. And they give you, it's just, but you can see, the staff and the players, we have a great relationship with one another. We have a great trust with one another, and we like that. It's a great deal moving forward here. He's set the foundation, and it's all on AP. He's done a great job.
Anything particular that's taken you by surprise, just coaching the offensive line so far, and maybe something that you thought they were better at than you would have imagined?
As far as their learning curve, like, we're throwing a bunch of stuff at them, and I think they, like we talked about earlier, they're sharp, they understand it, they get it, and there's not really a lot of questions about scheme and what we're doing. Their learning curve is very high here, and that's what I've been amazed with, how they're grasping it and they're doing it, and there's not a lot of mistakes.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Good looking group. All right.
Hey, Coach. Last year, this defense really kind of turned a corner from previous years. Did you kind of see that coming? And what were the core principles that kind of went into that transformation?
Well, I think it all started with the guys we acquired in the offseason. We added a great middle of our defense with Epps and Spillane, and then just being familiar with Patrick and playing to the strengths of our defense. And then the change was tough during the year, but we got better. We were getting better each week, and I think by the end you saw, a great defense. I think that's what you're going to see this year. In fact, I know it's what you're going to see this year.
Coach, you were raised around great defense and your whole life you've spent time with it. So when you look at a Christian Wilkins and a Max Crosby, they're old school guys. So would you talk about those two and what they do with Robert actually setting the standard for that defense?
Well, I mean, when you talk about Max Crosby, you're talking about the best defense player in the league. Probably in the history that I've ever seen. Now, I've only been around it 30 years, but I mean, he's that good. And then you add Christian Wilkins, who arguably is the best tackle in football. I mean, they're going to impact you. But the biggest thing is their work ethic stands out. Like they are gym rats to a core. And like you're talking about, like old school players, I mean, they really are. When I had Sapp and Burgess, they were sagging the quarterback every other snap. We just weren't scoring much. But they're phenomenal, and they do set the tone. And Robert Spillane is another guy that, Champ Kelly and those guys identified and went after and got him right in the middle of your defense, him and Epps. I mean, it's a great core. And, you're going to see Kuntz just take off like crazy because, I mean, if it's me, I think I'm going to put all the protection on the other side. But, Kuntz is going to wear you out. Like, he is going to wear you out. So it's a great group. It's been fun. Guys love each other. They're working hard. They're getting better. Patrick Graham's been in his lab, and it's going to be fun to watch this defense. And, whatever people say, good luck.
Coach, you mentioned Marcus Epps a couple of times. How big was he for the development of Trayvon Merrick as well?
Oh, amazing. Trayvon is the most talented safety in football. Now, he's just got to, bring it, and he's getting better each time. Now he's got a number change. Man, is he good now. But sometimes those number changes really change. But Epps has been great for him. Like, how'd that Philadelphia defense look without Epps? Oops, when you take a guy like that, a guy who knows the game, slows the game down for everybody, you take him away from the defense, it's a hard thing. The same thing happened to me in New Orleans when we went from, being great to horrible. But when we lost, Malcolm Jenkins. But he's that impactful. But Trayvon is, sky's the limit for him. We know how talented he is. But Epps is just that guy, that gritty guy, the gym rat, that makes everybody better.
You mentioned Malcolm. There's also another young defensive end, Tyree Wilson, had some injury issues last year that kind of held him back. What are your impressions of him moving now into year two?
I'll tell you what, I mean, all I see, I look out there and I see him and Andre Carter all the time. And, and he's been working hard. He's learning Andre's old pass rush moves. And so he's going to be a weapon as well. And he's got a great work ethic. And people don't realize the kid is so smart. That's another good quality to have. And along with those long vines that he's got, the game will slow down for him. His first year, sometimes you come in like a house fire, but sometimes it develops. Most of the time it takes a while for a young man to develop. And I think we'll see a lot of growth this year with him. He's a great kid. He works hard. He loves football. So we got the right guy.
Coach, what is it right now specifically that you've seen in terms of that development from Malcolm Kuntz? Like, what has he done in the offseason to really up the level of play?
Kuntz has always been super talented. Like, he really is. And he's a great kid. If you brought him in here, you might think he's asleep because that's just kind of the way he looks. But, oh, my God, can he bring it. Like, he is such an athlete. He can turn the corner. I mean, he can do so many things. And, he's been special. And to have Max as a tutor for him, and he needed some leadership like that. My first year when I was coaching him, I couldn't dip the corner that well. So, he kind of waited. But now we got this Robbie Leonard, this D-line coach, is special. He's special. This guy's fantastic. He has a rapport with these players. And, he's also smart enough to let our players lead, which is Max. Max makes everybody tougher. Max makes everybody better. Max makes everybody get tattoos. I mean, he's just a badass, so, but Malcolm's something special, man. I mean, he's great. Wait till you see, we'll see. I love these things. Oh, they got this guy and this guy, and he's my chip on my shoulder, I don't care what you say. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck handling our people. Good luck.
Did you get a tattoo?
Yeah. That's been a while ago though, but and this thing here is like, oh, I need to change the narrative, man. I was out of football. I'm a fish out of water. And my son, who's a male model up in London, is like, Dad, you need to get this, get a whatever that thing, the evil eye. Get an evil eye on you. I'm like, really? So me and my wife went out and got evil eye tattoos. Next thing I know, I get a job. It's unbelievable. But that's a true story. It's a true story. But my son's like, Dad, and show me it. So I show it to me. You didn't get the eyelashes, did you? I'm like, eyelashes? Oh, no. Apparently I did. So there you go. But they work if you need a job.
You referenced Patrick Graham, who is a man that almost got the Seahawks job. He's very respected around the league. What makes him an elite coach?
Oh, man. I mean, first of all, the guy's smart as anything. I mean, he's from Yale. I guess they don't give those, the graduation, that diploma away to anybody at Yale. But he's smarter than any guy. But he's also, the thing he identifies, he knows his personnel. Once he identifies the personnel, look out. He's gonna tailor his defense for that. But he's also a people person. And he's a kind of a different duck other than me. Like we're kind of opposite. But I love him, and he's gonna be an unbelievable head coach in this league. The simple fact is we stole the best one in AP. Period. But this guy here is number 2. And when he gets his chance, he is going to make it happen because he has a way of making people better, but he also has a way of mentally of tailoring down such a complicated scheme and making it simple. He's one of those guys, like a big brain guy that actually knows how to use it and communicate with the toughest of the tough.
You mentioned Rob Leonard, and I see him out there practice challenging those defensive linemen. Just kind of elaborate on how much he pushes those guys and what he brings to that defensive line room as the coach.
Well, Robbie Leonard, he's not the biggest cat in the world, but he thinks he's big and he'll do, oh man, but he is a technician. Like this guy is a technician. He preaches technique. He believes in it. And he makes these guys better. Like when you give him a raw piece of clay, and then he molds them into professional football players. And when you see, look, he's worked with the John Jenkins. Oh, John Jenkins had a meteoric rise. Now John Jenkins was great when he was a rookie for me. No, but he was in New Orleans. But this guy helped him. He had John Jenkins. He had Christian Wilkins. And Adam Butler, who's fantastic. So he developed all those guys too when they were young, and he's a great teacher. But he's also a skinny guy, doesn't know how skinny he is, but he thinks he's bigger than those guys. So, but he loves teaching, he works hard, and then you put Andre Carter in that room, my God, that's a good room.
You always want to talk about, it looks like guys like Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs could have fit in your
any system.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, and they are beautiful people now. They are something else. Like, sometimes you get some guys that are a little touched, but I tell you what, they can play. They can play, and you can throw that ball out there against Jack if you want to, but look out, because half the time he'll bring it back against you. So, and Hobbs, like his trading card, I don't know if guys collect cards, but his trading card, I don't know what position it says, because he plays everywhere. And he's smart, he's tough, he's dependable, and has courage. He doesn't really. I love those guys that hit an offensive tackle, 200 pounds bigger, whip his tail and come off and make the tackle. It's like, oh, nobody tell him you're not supposed to do that. Like this guy's fantastic. So, in any system, any team would be lucky to have him for sure.
Did you always want to come back to the Raiders, and what did it mean for you when you got back here a couple of years ago?
It's the best thing, best organization. It's like I already talked about. It's got the best head coach, but it's got the best owner. I mean, and the Raiders. I love this franchise, and God knows I've been on 10 of them, so I should know. Like this is my favorite franchise. Was when I worked with the great Al Davis. I was there 5 years with 4 head coaches. But the reason why he kept me, well, he knew I was great. But anyway, other than that, it's. This place is special. And when you see the whole stadium out there, now we got a home field believes in us. Got a whole stadium yelling for AP, AP. That was the coolest thing ever. Now you see guys, lined up to probably go buy Aiden O'Connell jerseys, but I'm sure they're sold out. But it's a great organization. I love it. This is where I'm going to work the rest of my career, which hopefully will span for another. I want to beat my dad's record for longevity. I won't be the best Ryan by any stretch, but I do want to, coach longer than all of them did. So, that'd be good. And now Rex has got a kid in coaching. I got one who I'm going to break in this building one of these days in a couple of years, and he'll probably be better than me. Won't be much, but he'll be better. But I love it. I love the people. I love everything about this place. Uniforms are the sweetest in the league. They like a guy with long hair. I mean, it's a great place for me. Come on.
What is it about AP, Coach, that you are so much a believer in him?
Because he's real. He's real. Now, this is the genuine article. He's straight out of Compton. Literally. So he's a complete badass, and he's just great people. But he wants our players and our coaches to be themselves. So that's what's great. He's not changing. Hey, if you're who you are, little Jack's Jack. We got, Max is Max. But he wants you to be yourself and bring them all together and create a culture that is awesome to see and be a part of. And I've been through a lot of them, but I just absolutely love what he's doing. And, he's a star, and then he's got a son that's going to be brilliant. Right now he's on offense. I'm sure he'll be switching to defense because that's where he probably belongs. But, he's special. But you see him. I mean, he's real. His coach talk. He ain't boring nobody. He's going to be himself. And he's going to make us winners.
You mentioned you had John Jenkins as a rookie. Could you see, even all those years ago, that he's a guy that could have this type of longevity he's ended up having in the league? And how cool is it to kind of see a guy's whole career progress? Now it's kind of full circle.
It's awesome. I mean, first of all, I was integral part of drafting him in the 3rd round. We stole him in Georgia. But he was a brilliant guy, and people don't realize. I mean, this kid was an all-state fullback basketball player. He may not look that way, but maybe it was like that kid playing in basketball last year, that big, huge guy. He was kicking butt. Well, Jenkins must have been doing that, but he's a great athlete, and he's sneaky athletic. And that, you can see the knee bend and all that, so you could project the longevity of a guy like this because he's always been a great worker, and he's also always been a great teammate. When Jenkins came in this building last year, he brought that D-line together like it's never been together. And they hang together, they believe in each other, and makes it special. And to see him finally get recognized as a great player is really cool.
From the time that you first stepped into this role to now, what would you say is the biggest just overall improvement you've noticed within the defensive mentality or on-field work or anything of that nature?
That's a great question because there's so many things. You can see this defense ascending. It starts with Patrick Graham and his leadership because he's grown too. That's not, he's been tremendous. But the communication of our players and the leadership of the guys, some of your guys just need to get a call. They don't have to make them. But those guys that got to make the calls, they got to get the whole defense on track. And we have some outstanding guys doing that, and it's helping our defense. And we know the best is yet to come. You saw it at the end of the year when we were number 1 in the league. When AP took over, there was a different mindset. He's like, PG, let it rip. There was no caution to the wind, and it made everybody better. And we were number 1 in the league in scoring defense, and that won by fluke. And wait till you see us this year.
Sorry, what last
Yeah, one more on Marcus Epps. You mentioned it in Philadelphia. He played the most snaps on that defense when they went to the Super Bowl. And he can't come off. It's like you never take him off the field. I'm just curious, what is it about him? We barely hear him talk, in the locker room. He seems like a kind of a quiet guy. But what is it about him on the field that, compels you guys to keep him on the field at all times, basically?
Well, off the field, he's just one of them cerebral cats now. He's very smart. Played at Wyoming. I think they got a barn named after him over there. But he is the thing on the field now. He's one of our loud guys. He speaks up. He runs the whole show back there. Him and Spillane echoes it, and the communication is night and day difference. And he and Trayvon have really put a bond in there. And watch out for this. this Zay, you know, Isaiah, he's come on. You can play him anywhere. So it's really special. But believe me, Epps is so much better than people think. Like, well, he had no interceptions. Yeah, okay. I guess he never had any impact on our defense. Oh, look again. And then you want to see how much he's missed? Well, you take him away from a defense, see how that defense went. I mean, they're busting assignments all over the place. You know, they blamed 8 coordinators they had during the year, but the simple fact is when you take a great player out of the middle of your defense, it hurts. Same thing happened to me. I mean, you know, you make a mistake and lose a great player like that, that hurts your defense.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.